Alright, video 2 of the enclosure build. So, off camera, I put in another layer of fiberglass on the enclosure while it was in the trunk. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like now, and then we'll go from there. So, that being said, here it is. After 2 solid coats of fiberglass mat on the back wall, I gave it about 3-4 hours to dry. It is dry to the touch. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of the car so that way I can set up more mat in a little bit more comfortable of a position than hunched over into the trunk. So let's go ahead and do that now. Woohoo! Oh, finally. There it is. It's out of the car. So at least now it's to a point where I can start to work on it, actually be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to strip all the tape off and I'll bring you back to it. Got it out, got the tape peeled off for the most part. There's a little bit still stuck, but it's mainly because the resin is still tacky. Once the resin thoroughly dries, the rest of it should come off. So what to do now? I got my chop mat, getting ready to go mix up some more resin over there. I'm going to come in on the inside of this. I'm just going to start adding layers to the inside here until it gets to a point where it doesn't flex anymore. Once it's no longer flexing, I'll be good to move on to the next step. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So as you saw, I put another layer or 2 of fiberglass down. I still got a lot to go, but before I put too much on, I'm gonna go ahead and trim it down around the tape so I know exactly how much space and area I actually need to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the Dremel out again and cut down all the area that I'm not gonna be actually using, so that way I know how much space I need. And then I'll do a test fit again just to make sure that everything fits all right. So go ahead and do that now. Alright, everything's all trimmed down and it's shaped up. Overall, the shape of it is quite nice. I think I'm on a really good start and pathway to success with this. Battery's about to die, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording process here, but I'm going to do a couple more things to it while I'm waiting. I'll probably add another layer or 2 of fiberglass on it just to make it a little stronger. Before the camera dies though, I'm going to show you a test fit of it as it sits right now, and then we'll come back to it. Overall, fitment is looking mighty fine. So I'm going to go ahead and keep adding layers to the inside. Next time you see it, it should be ready for the cutting of the trim ring for the sub. But what I ended up doing was I took a piece of cardstock, cut it strip out, wrapped the end in tape, and I basically measured out. See if I can get it in proportion here. So the sub interior mount depth mounts around is 8.93 inches. So at this length, all the way around 360 degrees was 8.93 to the size that it needed to be for that ring right there. For this ring, I needed the outer circumference to be 12 inches and the inner circumference to be 10.5 inches. So I split the difference, 5.25 here and 6 inches here. I put little notches inside each line and then just put a pencil in it. So that way, as I ran the pencil around, the lines were perfectly even all the way around the trim ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill my pilot holes, cut the inside of this one out, and then hopefully cut the outside edge of this one as clean as I did the other one. So we'll see what happens. Off camera, what I did, I got the top trim ring cut out nice and even. I took some 220 in my hand and I just rounded out all the edges and corners of the pieces so there was no splintering or blistering off the wood, which is good. They are both the same diameter, which is also good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take my Elmer's Carpenter's Wood Glue Max. I'm going to apply it around the edge here just to let it set. And then I'm going to go through with inch and 3/4 tack nails and tack nails through this outer trim ring just to keep the ring held together when I start to fiberglass everything in. So you see the glue down on the trim ring. It's all the way around, nice and even. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over. I'll line up my edges, make sure that I'm even around the whole thing. It's about as even as it's gonna get. Then I'm gonna take these little clips and just use them to hopefully hold this together. So it can dry. I let the glue set up for about 30-40 minutes. Then I took the clamps off and I put down 4 nails, 1.5 inch 16 gauge wire nails. That's what I'm using to actually mount the rings together. The glue won't officially be fully bonded for about 24 hours, but these nails will hold it in place a lot better than the clamps will overnight. I'm gonna throw in 2, 3, probably 4 more nails, and then the ring should be good to go. So I'll pit back up on this tomorrow. How's it going, everybody? So back for another day. I spent a lot of time off camera adding additional layers of fiberglass. The actual mold itself is solid, it's ready to go. I built the rings, as you saw, but I didn't like how the ring turned out. It's not even. The holes aren't perfectly symmetrical. I just wasn't happy with it. So I'm redoing the rings. I'm gonna show you briefly the changes I made to how I did the rings, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the rings off camera, and then show you a comparison of the before and after ring when it's all said and done. So let's get to it. Last time I did the rings, I was using a piece of paper with tape on it just to help keep it solid so I could trace my outlines. What I ended up doing this time, I went and bought actual wooden stirring sticks, and I drilled holes in the actual stirring stick at 4 7/16, 10.5, and 6. So that way my circles come out perfect, so I don't have to worry about deviation of the paper, adjusting them, sliding back and forth. Overall, the holes are a lot more symmetrical. Now, am I gonna be able to cut those and keep those at symmetry? Well, we'll find out shortly. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The second trim ring's done. I'm gonna show you a comparison of the original and the one that I made this time so you can see the difference. So right here, you can see that at the bottom, it sits pretty flush with the sub, and there wasn't enough space, really a whole lot of space in there. But up top, there was a lot of gap. It was really uneven and uncenter, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way it was shaped. I didn't like how it was cut. So, made a new one. Got rid of that one, and I came in with this one. So this one is more even. It's got gapping and spacing going around the entire sub. It's all even. The circle's still not a perfect circle because I apparently suck at circles, but it's gonna work for the best that I need. I can trim up some of these little areas to make the circle a little more smooth. But yeah, overall, this is a much better fit. So now that I got that done, I can move on to the next step, which is mounting it and wrapping it in fleece. Alright, so the ring is mounted. I got it supported by bracing on this side, back here at the back, as you can see right there on that little metal pin, little clip right there, and then a little metal brace right here, holding it in place. I can take the screws out of the top and the inside of each one of these brackets once I get it permanently mounted in place and get it locked with the fleece and the fiberglass, so that won't be an issue. And I can take this one out as well. So these are all temporary braces. So I got some Wellwood contact cement. I'm gonna use this to adhere the fleece to the box. I'm gonna start with the bottom with a staple gun into the wooden frame like I had intended and planned before. And then once that's stapled in place, we'll go from there. There we have it. All glued down, stapled, as you saw. I'm gonna go around the back side, trim off all the excess, and then I'll get the resin out and we'll start laying down the first coat of resin on it. I'm highly optimistic about how this is gonna turn out, so let's go ahead and keep on trucking. This cure overnight, and then when I get free time, I'll come back out here, I'll sand it all back down, scuff it up, and then start laying down fiberglass. So for now, this concludes our broadcast day. Well, came out today with the intention of getting some stuff done, but instead of adding to, I ended up taking away. Long story short, I didn't put enough resin down to thoroughly saturate the fleece when I was putting these two pieces together. As a result, the fleece didn't stick in all areas. So from here down and all the way along the bottom, it's solid, it ain't going nowhere. But from here all the way across the top and down this side here, it did not have enough resin soaked all the way through the fleece to provide an adequate bite. So I'm going to come back out another day, epoxy or liquid nail or something these two pieces together, and start adding more glass to put these two pieces together once more. And hopefully after all that, it'll still fit in the spot that it's supposed to go. I guess we'll find out. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, and I'll see you on the next one.